You're watching Queen City Collaborative Rebel Radio. I'm your host and CEO, Gwendolyn Bork. Let's not waste any time and get right down to it. Hi, everybody. My name is Gwendolyn Bork. I'm the CEO and Impact Strategist for Queen City Collaborative. It's really where I merge my talents as a financial advisor and my passion for the community to showcase business owners as well as C-level suite execs, salespeople, individuals, and showcase how they've really pivoted and adapted during this health crisis and either helped other people, maintain their status quo as a business owner, an individual, or giving back to our community. So I have a very special guest today, someone we all really need moving forward as we're looking to reopen our industries. And her name is Dani Terranova. She's the marketing specialist for Townsquare Media. Dani, thanks for coming.
Hi, Gwen. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So, Dani, give us you know, I guess let's follow a process, right? Like I know you have a process, and I know as business owners right now, we have been faced with things that the main word has always been like unprecedented. We are living in unprecedented times where the whole world is shut down and
Unsettling times.
unsettling is right. Yeah,
Yes.
I love that word though. Like it's unprecedented, and it is. But the whole world's shut down. Businesses that maybe three, four generations have closed their doors for the first time ever. Disneyland has shut their doors for the first time ever. You know, we are facing an economy and a point in our economy in that we've never faced ever before. And we have business owners that, again, like they on account of it having to shut their doors, we're starting to see potentially the light. Okay, we've got people that have survived the times. They're ready to communicate to their clients like, hey, we know exactly what's required for us to open up these doors. We know how to keep our employees safe. We want to be able to get ready to service you once again. Which leads me to our conversation. You have the ability to really work with people of all different types of industries, but particular in a time like this, when business owners want to reach their clientele to make sure that they know we're ready, we're safe, we have a process, you have a plan, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and that plan is going to vary from business to business, client to client with their specific needs and, are they essential? Are they non-essential? Are they even able to differentiate between the two? Certainly, there's been some categories of business that don't know where they stand. I think we're moving past that now, which is fantastic. We're definitely seeing things come in that have been on hold for the last couple months, and we're very optimistic that we're moving in a great direction. Certainly, there's local businesses that still are suffering and are in question, and that's really where our expertise comes in and where we are trying. I mean, as always, but trying more now than ever since mid-March, beginning of March. Call it what you want. Where they've really been strapped with closings and requirements that we've never seen. As you said, this is just unprecedented times.
So, I met you, in a past life when I worked at another firm, Custom Wealth Strategies, where I started my independent book of business. But you have a marketing experience resume that is very, very good, to say the very least. So, give people a quick little snapshot on, your history, your experience as it pertains to, media and marketing, and then lead us into Town Square and what it's like to work with you now at Town Square Media.
Right. No, I appreciate that opportunity. I've been in marketing for well over 10 years. I started in this business basically on accident, to be quite honest, at an advertising agency. A gentleman locally thought I would be good as an account executive. where I would be handling information from client to agency. So that's where I started, and I really enjoyed that, and I really excelled at it. From there, I moved into sales for the first time, which was very scary and very exciting. Worked in selling TV for WUTV and also WIVB for several years through both stations. And since then, I've moved into radio advertising. Really like radio. There's a lot of opportunity to get very creative and kind of work with the client to fit their exact needs. It's a little more of a creative business than TV, if you will. I do love TV. However, I've kind of found my niche in radio. But with any media outlet, we also offer digital advertising, which can be anything from display ads on our different radio station websites to I can target Florida residents for a Buffalo business, if that makes sense. We have no boundaries with digital, which is fantastic. So with my experience, I've worked with small business owners locally to big agencies, where you don't have as much interaction with the direct client, if you will. You're just kind of pushing the buttons for the agency. So where I have found my sweet spot, where I rest my head easy at night, is helping local businesses excel in any market, whether it's a COVID market or just a normal landscape for them. And this opportunity to speak with you, I really appreciate, because I think these times are, obviously unprecedented. As we've said, there's no history to base decisions on. There's no, well, what happened last year versus this year? There's no guideline, there's no measurement, if you will, which when it comes to advertising, you look at month to month, year to year, quarter to quarter. We don't have that option now. Now we're just, going with what is put in front of us day to day. And honestly, it changes every 24 hours, which, we've had to be very reactive and proactive at the same time. But with Townsquare Media, I've found that when the COVID crisis started to present itself, and when concerts and sporting events and our own station events were pushed back for months at a time, or delayed for to be determined dates, right? So what that did is open up a lot of inventory. We have 4 very strong FM stations, and with that inventory, what Townsquare did was put into the hands of the people that were talking to local businesses an opportunity to promote their business and talk about their specific message and how they're adapting with these packages, with interviews on our stations with local talent. We have blogs, we have posts, we have newsletters, we have just endless opportunities between the 4 FM stations and the targeted digital solutions that we have, which, don't change between COVID times and normal times, but just the access to it, I guess, has been changed a little bit.
So let me just kind of pause you right there. I mean, you've got, history in broadcast with, Channel 4. What was the other one you said?
WUTV, which is the Fox TV affiliate.
Fox, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, and then it's like you had experience in radio, and like Townsquare seems to be a little bit of both, because you have radio and you have digital, so it's like you have a lot at your fingertips. What are the actual radio stations then that you represent at Townsquare Media?
So obviously our big station is WIRK. We're #1 in the market, which is a fantastic station. We've got great talent people really resonate with. They have an affection for our station talent, which is great. And you'll find that in any station that people really tune into and have a connection with. We also have The Breeze, we have Jack FM, and we have WBLK. So we have a very diverse radio group, if you will, where we're able to target different ages and different audiences and different interest levels. And then, with digital, it's so highly targeted. It's really kind of crazy, whether it's, geography or behaviors or ages or genders or income levels. We can really kind of put a pinpoint on exactly who your target audience is and help you reach that audience with your specific message in order to reach your specific goals.
So I can imagine, as a business owner, you finally have been waiting. This is the moment in time that you've been waiting for. You've saved every penny. You've put stopgaps into place to keep you, above water, and you got PPE loans, and you've done everything that you could to, maximize your funding opportunities, and you're ready to launch. You're ready to reopen, which is, I've heard so many businesses say like they're relaunching, or like doing a ribbon cutting, to reopen their business at this time.
They're reinventing themselves.
Yeah.
Agree, yeah.
And I've seen that. We've showcased that on my channel through these podcasts, which was the goal, right? I mean, anybody can focus on going, shutting the doors, but why not take this up as an opportunity to reinvent yourself, to get better, and tighten up your message, and just streamline your processes to being a more effective business person. And I guess my thought process is, you're ready to go. You got the safety parameters in place, and that's a process in itself. Who would want to, could you do this yourself? Could you, schedule all your digital marketing, through all the different channels that are available. You could do this, you could schedule that demographic. We both know how much time that takes. And to sniper target this and that, do you even know all the options? It's obviously more wise to focus your energy on being safe, putting your safety protocols put into place, preparing safety measures for your employees. So why not, for me as a representative of our community, my thought process is, for anyone watching, if you want to deliver a safe experience as you reopen this new brand of yourself, why not focus on that and be the expert at, taking care of your client and maximizing your client experience during this time, and allow, someone like Dani to take the reins and come up with, potential marketing plan for themselves that'll reach their demographic. And you're the one that has the experience, what's going to work, and you can propose that, so like, what's the first step? Somebody's listening, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't handle that right now, but I know I need to communicate to my clients that we're going to be reopening, and we're phase 2, or we're getting ready for phase 3. I got my dates, like, we're ready to go. What do they do now in preparation to be able to broadcast their message? Wait, they're going to call you, Dani, and what are you going to say?
Well, in any landscape of marketing, whether we're in a normal time or COVID crisis, you're always best to focus your energies and your expertise, right? So if your expertise is running your business and that doesn't involve the marketing aspect, you're certainly best to put that in the hands of somebody who has experience. And the big thing that I want to speak to, Gwen, is the resources. The amount of resources that we have at our fingertips is unbelievable. Honestly, it's overwhelming. It's a little much. And I love that. And that's really what I'm focused on, is drilling down into utilizing the research resources, because that's such a changing landscape right now. So what I might have shared with a client 4 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago is going to be completely different landscape from what we're dealing with right now. So again, to go back to basing things on trends and history and month to month and quarter to quarter and year to year, that's out the window. Right now it's survival. And for business owners, their energies are focused on, number one, keeping their employees safe. What's the comfort level of the employee being in front of their customer base? What is the comfort level of their customers coming into their store? How are they handling it? What processes are in place, right? So phase 2 started today, right? You go to a dentist office, they have masks, they have shields, they have gowns, they have things that we have never seen before. I have to be honest, I went to the dentist today after waiting since like middle of March to have a filling fixed. And it was like an out of body experience. And they're very frustrated, as they should be, right? So their patients have needs that they're not able to meet. So that's just one small category of our business world, right? So then we have retail, and can they open? And then we have salons that just opened today. What does that landscape look like? What can somebody expect when they're calling to make it a hair appointment? What's going to happen when they go to that hair appointment? Well, I went to the dentist office today, and I went to the door, realized I forgot my mask, went back to the car, grabbed my mask, went to the door, walked into the waiting room, in which they told me that I shouldn't be there because I didn't read the sign on the door, admittedly so. But, these are the things that need to be communicated. I should have stayed in my car, called from the parking lot. They will go through a series of questions with their clients. Have you traveled? Have you had a fever? Have you this? Have you that? Right? So you go through this list of 10 questions, and then, somebody came out, actually took my temperature, which was the first time I had experienced that. That was a little bit different. And then once I was cleared, I was able to go in and have my filling fixed. So, that's one example.
I'm with you.
Right?
I'm with you on
How do
that.
we adapt to that? How do we educate our customers, our client base on A, can they make an appointment, and B, if they do, what needs to be done? What's
the
expected
process?
of them?
Yeah.
That's really where we've been working with the immediacy of the situation. How can we best communicate? If you're a car dealer, I work with a motorcycle dealer who does sales, repairs, storage. He has clients calling from the parking lot. They obviously have to call in advance to pick up their bikes because they're in storage. But if they need service, if they want to come in and shop, they call from the parking lot. They let people in a certain amount at a time, depending on how big their facility is. These are the messages that, we've never even thought about until right now, that require some type of advertising and marketing and messaging to let people know what to expect and give them that comfort level to make that next step of A, making that appointment, or B, going to that location.
That's exactly that's what I was thinking. It's like, it's not about, hey, this is how we're different, we got this new product in stock. It's, hey, this is the process. This
point
is
anymore, right? For the first time.
Yeah, we're set. Like, people are going to sell safety. They're going to sell their protocol to getting people in and out safely. What their staff is doing to keep everyone safe, and it's a give and take. You need clients in the door. You need people to buy your products or use your services, but they're not going. We know people are not going to do that unless they know the steps that you're taking to keep them safe. And how else are they going to do that? By using a company like yourself, by getting the message out. So if somebody calls Dani and they're like, listen, Dani, here's my business. This is what I got. This is what I've done in the past. What do people pay for the consultation? Do they, what happens right now in a no face-to-face zone? Are you doing virtual meetings, like setting up a meeting with a client, having a virtual conference? You kind of brainstorm, and is that a cost? Is it free? What is someone going to expect out the gate working with Dani Terranova from Townsquare Media?
Right. No, I appreciate that. As always, consultations are always free. I mean, I welcome the opportunity to be a resource to any local business. I rest my head easy at night because I know I'm helping local businesses. Whether we're in a COVID crisis or not, to have a conversation with me, utilize my resources that are, in abundance, to understand what opportunities are out there. That is always a free conversations. Conversations are, if we can't target who they wish to target, which we can target anybody. It's always good as a resource to utilize our research and our data and our history and our experience to understand the options that are available to you. I would tell anybody who is, needing to get a message out that's very timely with the COVID crisis, or B, just has always wanted to advertise but not known where to start. I definitely would encourage them to give me a call. Again, I have experience. I've planned entire marketing campaigns for businesses, small to national. It's a matter of understanding what their specific goals are, how we can meet those specific goals, and what is the research that allows me to understand how to get there, right? So a CNA, customer needs analysis, which we call it, is always welcome. And even if we part as friends, even if it's something that somebody isn't ready for, or it's just a learning experience, I mean, you just never know. You never know. I mean, that information is really priceless, whether it's something you put in place in 2 months or 2 years, maybe your new business, maybe you're changing your model, which, a lot of people are changing their business models and how they do business and who they're targeting and what that messaging is. Unless you were a vehicle manufacturer, you didn't have to worry about a message of safety. Nobody really cared what a retail location was doing to make their customers safe. Nobody said, well, we put wet floor signs down when we mop the floor. I mean, that's not something you spend advertising dollars on, but now that kind of is where you need to spend advertising dollars to some degree. Again, in the now, Gwen, but that's going to change. I mean, this landscape is changing, so rapidly. Phase 2, we've all been talking about it. We didn't even know if it would happen for sure until, a couple days ago, right? So as a business owner who is, slated as phase 2, and do they make the decision, and how do we make the decision? That's where our expertise comes in. We're completely flexible. We understand the landscape that we're working in. We are certainly not ever going to put anybody in a situation that a decision that they may have made one day that made sense doesn't make sense the next day with the landscape and the changing information that's out there. We will adjust to that. We can adjust our messaging. We can pause the schedule. We can do whatever makes sense for the business. We're here to partner with local businesses, not to put them in a situation that they can't get out of, or deliver the right messaging. Maybe they can't open their doors for 2 more weeks when they thought they were going to be able to in 48 hours. Obviously we're going to adapt to that.
I think what's fantastic that you said is that just call you, have the consultation, figure it out, have the needs assessment done, because with even digital advertising, we're, as business owners, a lot of us have used Facebook like crazy to spread our messages, and there's ads on Facebook, and you can target promotional ads on Instagram, and LinkedIn is a whole other separate type of demographic for a particular business owner. So having all these options available to you, you said just at least have the conversation, whether you do it now or you do it later. You have broad experience, history, data that backs you up in your approach, in your methods, on who you're going to target, the audience, how you're going to do it, the potential reach, the potential, right. that person, that particular business has. So I've used you before. We've had amazing conversations. We've had a really great success. You're really good at what you do, Dani. And for those watching, please take the time out to make your message a priority. Make sure people realize you're not only still around, but you're there and you're coming back stronger. You're an innovator. You're willing to adapt and pivot and remain strong throughout this time for the long haul. So any last words, any last advice on what we can offer anybody who's watching today, Dani, as they think about this, moving forward over the next, quarter of 2020.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's a really scary time. It's a scary time for everybody. It really is. I mean, I would just encourage anybody, small business, large business, retail, business to business. It really doesn't matter what type of business you're in. If you have, questions on how to move forward, if you have, these may be questions you've been sitting on for 3 years or maybe 3 days. I mean, I don't know. Again, I have resources, I have history, I have things that I can, make recommendations on that aren't just, out of my own head. I have, just an amazing amount of opportunities to put into place for certain businesses to reach certain budgets, to reach certain goals. It really all starts with a conversation, and conversations are free. And what you can learn from a conversation is fantastic. I'm huge on connecting Buffalo business owners with other businesses and potential clients with Buffalo business. I love local business, and that's really where kind of the pain is, if you will, right? So an opportunity to offer them advice or offer them marketing programs that may be accessible to them now or maybe later. Those are the conversations I like to have, and they're free.
Free conversations are good, right?
Yeah, right.
So, my last piece to say about you is you are, easily the easiest and just amazing individuals to work with. You take a lot of time throughout your process listening and taking in what we as business owners have to say, that we know about our business, that we know about our clients that we're reaching. You take it all in, and then you're willing to pivot and adapt with us and say, hey, like, well, I know how I can reach that person, and I know that because of this research, because of this data. And that's the report, that's the proposal that comes on my desk, and something that I'm able to evaluate, review, and hey, it's an opportunity. So, Dani, thank you, because for those that are listening today that have been thinking about this, that didn't know really which way to go, I really hope that we shared with you a potential pathway to get your message, across the airwaves, or, through our digital PC screens that everybody's really still on these days. And,
more than ever now.
yeah, and show what you're capable of. You're a great friend of mine, as well as a business professional in this local community. You got a great heart, and you really do want to help our local businesses. So good luck to you, Dani, in the future, as you can continue to work with these businesses and face even more and more and more of the unknowns, even that I am aware of as a financial advisor with the market. So
It's crazy.
I appreciate your time. I really hope that I get to see you on any future episodes, and any personal advice on a personal level that you want to share for those people that are out there either struggling or that are unsure. What kind of words of wisdom or words of hope that you can offer our audience at Queen City Collaborative?
Well, I appreciate that, Gwen. And I appreciate the kind words. Now I'm afraid somebody will call me and be disappointed. Just kidding. I mean, the advice is really the same now more than ever. Like, in these unprecedented times, which I hope that's the last time I ever hear this, right? These uncertain times, all of this unsettling, blah. I'm looking forward to positive messaging. I'm looking forward to talking to business owners about how they can put their best foot forward, how they can get their message out. Do they want to address COVID? Do they want to move past it? I mean, it's really a case-by-case situation. Use me as a resource. I appreciate what you said, but it really is how I feel. I would never want to, offer somebody bad information. I'm always going to do best by what I can offer to them for their specific goals and their specific business. So I would just encourage them to call and again have the conversation and utilize me as a resource, utilize my research, utilize my history and case studies and all of these things that I can deliver to you, and see where that takes us.
Well, thank you for being with us today, Dani. I do hope that I get to hear, some more success stories of even clients that I've worked with personally and how, they've used you to, you know, to really launch themselves into the end of
Right.
2020 and hopefully the future, right? So, I hope to see you soon, and thank you for joining us.
No, thanks, Gwen. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with everybody, and I hope to see you very soon.
All right. All right, everybody. Again, Gwendolyn Bork, CEO, Impact Strategist of Queen City Collaborative. My guest today, Dani Terranova, Marketing Specialist with Townsquare Media. Please stay tuned for future episodes where we interview even more people in the business community that are preparing to reopen their businesses in whatever phase that they are, or to hear expert opinions on how to, prepare yourselves and your clientele for the next phase of your life as a business owner or individual who's looking to make an impact and share a story here in Western New York. So we'll see you guys next time, and thanks for joining us.